Chapter 2. Sara, did you have something you wanted to say? Sara jumped, becoming aware again, as Mr. Jorgensen said her name. Yes, sir. I mean, about what, sir? Sara stammered while the other 27 students in her classroom snickered. Sara had never understood why they took such delight in someone else's embarrassment, but they never failed to do just that, laughing raucously as if something actually funny had happened. What is funny about someone else feeling bad? Sara just couldn't sort out the answer to that. But now wasn't the time to ponder that anyway, for Mr. Jorgensen was still holding her in the unbelievable spotlight of discomfort, while her classmates looked on with exaggerated glee. Can you answer the question, Sara? More laughing. Stand up, Sara, and give us your answer. Why is he being so mean? Is this really so important? 5 or 6 eager hands shot up around the classroom, as show-off classmates took further delight in making Sara look bad. No, sir, Sara whispered, slipping down into her seat. What did you say, Sara? The teacher barked. I said no, sir. I do not know the answer to the question, Sara said, a bit louder. But Mr. Jorgensen wasn't finished with Sara. Not yet. Do you know the question, Sara? Sara's face flushed red with embarrassment. She didn't have the slightest idea what the question was. She had been deep in her own thoughts, truly in her own world. Sara, may I offer a suggestion to you? Sara didn't look up because she knew that giving her permission or not giving it wouldn't stop Mr. Jorgensen. I suggest, young lady, that you spend more time thinking about the important things that are discussed here in this classroom, and less time gazing out of the window, wasting your time on idle, needless thoughts. Try to put something in that empty head of yours. More laughter. Will this class never end? And then the bell. Finally, the bell. Sara walked slowly home, watching her red boots sinking into the white snow. Grateful for the snowfall, grateful for the quiet, grateful for an opportunity to retreat into the privacy of her own mind, as she began her 2-mile walk home. She noticed that the water beneath the Main Street Bridge was nearly completely covered with ice, and she thought about sliding down the river bank to see how thick the ice was, but decided to do that on another day. She was able to see the water flowing beneath the ice, and she smiled as she pondered how many different faces this river showed throughout the year. Bridge, crossing this river, was her favorite part of her walk home. There was always something interesting happening here. Once across the bridge, Sara looked up for the first time since leaving the schoolyard, and she felt a little twinge of sadness wash over her as she realized that her quiet walk in solitude was only 2 blocks from ending. She slowed her pace to savor the peace she had rediscovered, and then turned and walked backwards for a bit, looking back at the bridge. Oh, well, she sighed softly as she entered the gravelled driveway to her house. She paused on the steps to kick at a large sheet of ice, loosening it with her boot and kicking it off into a snowbank. Then she pulled off her wet boots and went into the house, quietly closing the door and hanging her heavy wet coat on the hook. Sara made as little noise as possible. She wasn't at all like the other members of her family, who usually called out a loud, penetrating "I'm home" upon entering. "I'd like to be a hermit," she concluded, walking through the living room into the kitchen. A quiet, happy hermit, thinking, talking, or not talking, getting to choose everything about my day. Yes,